Hey, what's up, guys? This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about Crypto Chart TA, as well as some interesting things that are happening with Bitcoin and the broader crypto market as a whole. So we're going to go ahead and start things off with our Bitcoin Chart TA, and Bitcoin lately has not really done much. Now, this last weekend here was a holiday weekend, and so the volume has been very low, especially here for Saturday. We can see just how incredibly low this volume has been. And in the last couple of days, it really has not been very high. And so what this means is right now, as Bitcoin struggles to try to get above this 25K level, it has not had enough volume, enough buying pressure to push through this level. And make no mistake about it, this level right here, this 25K level, is essential for Bitcoin. As you can see here, over the last, let's say, 6 or 7 months, this level has consistently been some of the absolute heaviest resistance for Bitcoin. And in order for Bitcoin to really show us that we're out of a bear market, we need to see a strong push above this region here, above 25K. And if we don't get that, it's entirely possible that we could get something similar to what we saw back in August, where it tried to push above this level and was soundly rejected. And then from there, it tumbled down significantly and then even capitulated further after the FTX disaster. Now, that's something to watch out for. I don't think that that's the most likely possibility. I think the most likely possibility is Bitcoin does actually break out above 25K and we get additional tests of the resistance points here at about 25.5 and maybe even go slightly higher than that, maybe about 28,000. So I think that that's probably the most likely outcome. Bulls have been strong in this market and whales have been buying like crazy. In fact, if we go ahead and we take a look at let's talk at the 1 minute or so, we can see here that there has been a little bit of selling here and there, but some of the whale buys that we've seen have been kind of nuts. I mean, you have probably around about 100 or so here when it tried to push up and test 25K. There's another 45 here. And then if we go all the way back here to earlier, what we can see is some 50, 60, somewhere around there, pushing above. And the whales have been actually buying this dip fairly heavily. Right here, you can see there's probably around 60 to 90 Bitcoin being bought. And anytime Bitcoin comes down below this support line, hold on, let me show you the support line. So anytime Bitcoin comes down below this support level of 24.2, we do see that it does tend to get bought up very quickly. It bounces very quickly all the way back up again and retakes this support level here. And in fact, when we saw Sunday, we saw a quick dump off, but it was very quickly bought up by whales looking to add to their position. So right now, what we're seeing is Bitcoin trending sideways. However, I don't think this is going to last very long. I don't think this is going to last forever. And it's been sideways for the better part of about 5 days or so. And I'm expecting that we're going to wind up getting a nice breakout to the upside past 25K within the next week or two. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our funding rate as well. So funding rate always gives us an idea of the market sentiment right now. And what we're seeing is that the longs are still strong and in control. They've increased a little bit since that little sell-off yesterday, and they've reclaimed this higher level of funding here. So the funding rate means is that your longs are paying shorts to maintain their position. This is primarily with your perpetual contracts, so it's your derivatives market. It's not spot prices, but it does impact spot prices for Bitcoin. So right now, longs are strong, and they're also very stable right now. So I don't see any huge capitulations happening with the derivatives market. Now, if we take a look at the spent output profit ratio, or the SOPR, and again, a good way to think of the SOPR is your realized profits. When it's above this 1 level right here, this dotted line, when it's above 1, then it is it's people selling in profit. And so what we're seeing right now is a SOPR of 1.005. So right now we're having a significant number of sellers that are still selling in profit. And this is one of the most important metrics that like ARK Invest likes to look at. And what they're looking for is a Bitcoin to stay above that one level. So to stay above profitability for an extended period of time. And so that's what we've seen in the last month or so. We've seen it sustain itself for about a month with a couple of really small drops here and there. But otherwise, it's been mostly in profit for the last month. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at the net unrealized profit loss, this is kind of like the same sort of metric, except we're talking about unrealized profit loss. So these are people who have not sold. And so what you're seeing here is a new high for these people who have not sold. So what you're looking at is about a 19% or so amount that people are in profit. So people are in profit right now that are holding Bitcoin are in profit by an average of about 19%. So this is a level we haven't seen since all the way back here in June before the June dump off happened. So that's one example of the Bitcoin market becoming stronger. Because one thing you tend to see with these bear markets is that it tends to change as soon as you wind up going past these levels here. As soon as that net unrealized profit loss climbs to a certain area, let's say here about above 20% or so, that's usually when you start to see people, when you usually start to see the next bull market happen. So we're actually kind of close to that point. Now I'm going to be watching this level very closely to make sure that we're actually coming back into that area and we're not just being rejected back off of that area. But the fact that we've already gone into a new area shows me that the bullish support is strong right now. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Bitcoin exchange reserves. So the exchange reserves gives you an idea of how many Bitcoins are on the exchanges themselves. And we've seen actually a pretty large increase in the number of Bitcoins on the exchange. You can see here that the monthly trend right now is upwards and it has been rising. So ever since we had the low of about January 27th, it's been rising. If we look at the 1 year, though, we can see that in the 1 year, there's just not a lot historically of Bitcoin on the exchanges, even though the trend is kind of reversed in the past month. Historically, if you look at the longer time frame, there's just not a lot of Bitcoin on the exchanges. And so what you could wind up seeing is increased volatility as there just isn't enough Bitcoin to fill orders that people are looking to buy, or there are people looking to sell. There's not necessarily enough coins on the exchange in order to facilitate that. So you're going to wind up getting additional volatility. Next, I want to go ahead and take a look at the crypto fear and greed index. Right now, we're at about a 68. So we're firmly in the greed category. We have not hit extreme greed just yet. That usually will happen a little bit later in the cycle. We were at about that 77 plus region back at about the 29th of January. And so far, we really haven't gone back to that point yet. But it really hasn't even fallen that far on the low end. It's only gone down to about 28 in the fear. So right now, we're in the middle of a greed cycle for Bitcoin and the crypto markets. So speaking broadly about the crypto markets, here's a really interesting trend I want to highlight. And that is the total market cap has gone up. Okay, so including everything, Bitcoin and crypto and stable coins. All right, but if you go ahead and we take a look at the altcoin market cap, so those that aren't Bitcoin, it has gone up pretty dramatically in the last 3 months or so. And we've seen here that with Bitcoin, it does tend to rise in tandem with Bitcoin, but the fact that it's rising in tandem means that there's increased strength in the altcoin markets as well. So that's not usually something you see in a bear market. You don't normally see the altcoin market cap go up so dramatically, but it has been up fairly dramatically in the last 3 months. If you go ahead and take a look at the stablecoin market cap, though, it's a completely different situation. And the reason for that is it seems like a lot of investors and traders are getting rid of their stablecoins, and instead they're buying either altcoins that actually move or they're buying Bitcoin. So these stablecoins have gone down dramatically, and the stablecoin market cap right now is at an incredibly low level. And in fact, it's at the lowest level it's been in a year. So that's really interesting. And then we go down here and we take a look at the DeFi market cap. So the decentralized finance market cap, that is up again in the last 3 months. Not a big surprise when you consider the fact that the altcoins have been up, but that just goes to show you that there is strength right now in DeFi, there is strength right now in altcoins, and there is strength right now in Bitcoin itself. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of our altcoins, and that is Ethereum. Ethereum has had a difficult time trying to get above, I'm gonna move this up here a little bit, above this resistance level at about 1715. Right now it's at about 1700 or so. And just like with Bitcoin, it's had a really difficult time pushing above this level because sellers tend to materialize here above this level, and especially up to about 1740. And just like with Bitcoin, volume has not been good enough to actually push it higher. But I think the same analysis still stands with Bitcoin, and that I do expect that it's going to push above the 1716 level within the next week, maybe 2 weeks or so. And we're going to stop seeing it move sideways because it's been moving sideways for quite some time now, at about 5 days. And just like with Bitcoin, it tends to not move sideways for a very long. So if it does breach this 1715 level, what you're looking at there is a retest of, let me show you this, the levels here at about 1776. And then if it breaches that level, what you're looking at is a retest of the about $2,000 region. And that was back in August. That was its August highs. So Bitcoin's threatening its August highs, and Ethereum is still way off of its August highs. So to put things into perspective, now, if you take a look at Binance Coin is in a little bit of a different situation. So I've put it kind of in between the sideways motion here between 311 and about 320. And it's kind of right in the middle of the range. And Binance Coin right now, the buying for this has been very muted because there's still some FUD hanging around between the SEC charging Paxos for BUSD and the market still digesting that for the most part, so it just keeps going sideways. And I don't know that this is going to change because and even if you climb above 320, you still have resistance here at about 325. Now, if it breaks through that resistance level at 325, I would be more convinced that it's actually going to break out to the upside, just like with Bitcoin and just like with Ethereum. But for now, I think this is going to probably wind up moving sideways for a little bit longer. All right. Now, the last thing I want to talk about today is the major economic reports and what's going on in the economy. So what we have here on Wednesday is you're going to get FOMC minutes. Now, this can usually provide a little bit of volatility in the market. That's going to be 2 p.m. That's going to happen Eastern time. So this will definitely either send Bitcoin and crypto up, or it'll send it down depending on what happens with the Federal Open Market Committee minutes that are released. So that's something to watch out for. And then the next day, you also have jobless claims and you have GDP as well. So this is particularly important looking at GDP because a positive GDP reading is definitely going to push the market higher because now you're showing that there's growth in the economy, and then the markets will react positively. You'll get a pump for Bitcoin and for crypto, as well as the traditional markets, the Nasdaq and the S&P 500, and also the Dow will probably go up on positive GDP numbers. So that's going to be something I'll be looking for this week, and I'll be sure to follow up on that on a later video. All right, so that's all I've got for you guys today. If you guys like this content, let me know. Like, subscribe, and then go ahead and please leave a comment on what you guys are looking at for the Bitcoin and crypto markets. I'd greatly appreciate that. This is Cody the Coin Raptor, and I hope to catch you guys on the next video.